Fabio Wardley is all set to square off against Daniel Dynamite Dubois on Saturday, May 9th, in defense of his WBO world title. This is an intriguing bout between two heavy hitters in the heavyweight division, still circling a prime, and could emerge one as the prime candidate to challenge unified champion Alexander Usyk. But it's business first. And as we've drawn closer to this fight, there is a tension brewing between the two combatants that many people may be overlooking the reasons why. But we're going to talk about it in this video, what's going on with these two men. On Saturday, May 9th, Fabio Wardley will make the first defense of his WBO heavyweight title against former titleist Daniel Dynamite Dubois in a bout that's being billed as Don't Blink. Now, when we say don't blink, it's because it's one of those adages that don't go to the fridge, have your refreshments and drinks and having gone to the restroom and everything before the bell rings for the first round, because we're expecting action straight away from the onset. I look at this fight between these two men as an opportunity for both to truly prove their wares, but more so Dubois, not more so Wardley, because Dubois has had some circumstances that you have questioned, not only his temperament, but maybe his true desire. However, when it comes down to Wardley, this is about proving that he has truly arrived. Formerly regarded as what they called a white-collar fighter, which I hate that term, and so does he. He has made marked improvement in his career. Coming into this fight, Wardley is bringing his record of 20 wins, no losses, 1 draw in against Dubois, and has 19 KOs. He's 6'5" with a 78-inch reach, fighting out of Ipswich, Suffolk, the UK. He's a heavy soccer fan, football as they call it in the UK. But Truck, as I've nicknamed him, is a man that's willing to face adversity head on. He was expecting to go right into a fight against Usyk, seeing that the bout that he faced Joseph Parker in his last outing had indicated that the winner would have a shot at Usyk. Primarily, it was Parker. That fight took place in October 2025, and Joseph Parker found out that his own ring and former championship experience didn't mean much against Wardley, who came out and battered Parker into an 11th round TKO stoppage. It was the kind of stuff that really impressed ringside people, as well as the people who had picked against him because of Parker's so-called experience. And then later we find that Parker popped dirty for banned substances recreational drugs like cocaine, which can be used as masking substance. It was all on Wardley to prove whether he belonged or not, and for certain he did. Now, when we talk about Dubois, his most compelling victory happened to be his win over Anthony Joshua in a fight similar to this, as two UK men were battling. It was an opportunity for him to prove to the world that he was the better heavyweight between the two. Then Joshua succumbed to a 5th round KO stoppage, where Joshua was also down 4 times in the fight and out for good in the 5th. He was counted. But it was Usyk in the rematch that followed in July of 2025, where Dubois himself was stopped in the 5th round. He was down twice and counted out. But unlike Joshua, who couldn't beat the count, Dubois laid on the canvas looking at his corner and took the count, leaving many to believe that he was reluctant to get up and finish fighting. To me, it was a very disappointing performance, where this was a second chance at Usyk that Dubois had, and he totally squandered the opportunity. He never came out with reckless abandon. He never went for broke. He was very tentative and fought almost as if his hands were restricted, leading me to think other things that I won't say in this particular video breakdown about his performance. But just let you know that I've lost all confidence in a fighter like Dubois when they come out like that, because after the controversy of their first fight, going all the way back to August of 2023, where Usyk was dropped, I believe, in the 5th round with a body shot that was belt line. It was called a low blow. Even though Usyk went down, he didn't grab his crotch. He grabbed his stomach. And the referee at the time, Louis Pabon, called it a low blow. Usyk milked the opportunity to stay on the canvas and take the count for getting himself back together. When the fight resumed, he got up and he ended up stopping Dubois in the 9th round. This fight was fought in Wrocław, Poland. There was something real eerie about the atmosphere. Dubois shut down in that fight in that 9th round, and why he took that knee, no one can answer but he. But I'll tell you this. This makes 3 times that he has lost in top flight opposition opportunities. Not against guys who were on the comeback, not against guys who were sort of apprehensive and tentative like a AJ. This was the real deal, and he failed 3 times. The first going all the way back to when he faced Joe Joyce as an undefeated fighter back in November of 2020. He lost a 10th round KO, taking a knee after he suffered a fractured left eye socket. But I'm going to say this about these 2 men. What is the thing that really sets them apart is their character. I totally give Fabio the edge in this department, because what Fabio does is he fights like a man possessed. Dubois can land a big shot, but he doesn't give the best of himself. Coming in as a 6'5", 78-inch reach, Greenwich, London fighter, he does not necessarily know how to improvise. When things get tough, he kind of plods along the same way. He's not a great thinker in the ring, and if the game plan isn't working, he'll check out. Against a fighter like what we're having here with Wardley, Daniel Dubois may be tested psychologically. And what I mean by that is the intelligence of Wardley may bring him through, not the physicality. If you put Daniel in a situation where he has to think, he doesn't necessarily respond with the quickness. If the coach and trainer, Don Charles, can't give him what he needs as far as instructions and directions, he's going to be lost at sea. And then he has a terrible knack of looking outside the ring to see what his dad, Stan Dubois, has to say, who's always interfering there and is a detriment to Daniel when he's under fire. But everything in this fight points to what I say about Wardley. Wardley is the man who is more heady in more ways than one, pun intended. He will get in there and he will press Daniel in a way that already in their pre-fight face-offs, what he's been managing to do is to give Dubois something to make him edgy. In the meantime, laughing it off himself, because Wardley has grown into becoming not only a champion, but a fighter who really knows and believes that he belongs. And when he's undefeated and still has something to prove, that's a lot to fight for. Dubois has shown us that he has given in, submitted, waved the flag. Wardley doesn't know what that means. And in this fight, there'll be some tests. Even Wardley's chin could be tested by Dubois being dropped, but that doesn't mean the fight ends there. If something like that were to happen and Wardley gets shaken up, I believe that's when the fight really begins. Because if you go back to his battle against Big Frage Clark, that's exactly what happened when Fabio was tagged by Big Frage and ended up having to come back, even putting Frage down in their first fight. The bloody nose that he had, where there was a terrible cut on the bridge of his nose that has sometimes opened up since that fight. Fabio is not afraid of contact, and he will get in there and work to the bone to get his win. In that fight against Big Frage, it ended up being a split decision, but they rematched in October of 2024, and Big Frage was stopped in one round. A huge right hand to the side of Frage's head, which left an indentation mark and left Frage totally on Queer Street, propelled Wardley into the victory column and into future consideration of being someone who could possibly challenge for a world title. He did against Parker, and he won. The fight prior to Parker had him in with Justice Hooney in June of 2025, where he was behind on all scorecards and ended up with a 10th round KO with a counter right to the head of Justice Hooney that totally took him out, where he couldn't beat the count. You see, Fabio believes in himself, and until the final bell rings, it's not over when it comes down to him. And it's not going to be over until he smashes Daniel Dubois into the canvas, which I do believe is going to end up what happens in this fight. I totally like the fight because it's two action-packed heavyweights, guys who will let it fly. But only one of them have shown me that they have the armor to be durable enough to persevere and pull a win out, even though the goings have gotten rough. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about this fight who you got winning, and what do you think will come of the winner, and will they get a shot at Alexander Usyk? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.